Hello and welcome to Mindful Mondays. Today we're thinking about something that very much affects the way we pray, and that is, what are you meditating on? Now, you might say that you don't meditate. Maybe you think meditation is for people in Middle Eastern religions and not for Christians. Maybe silence makes you jittery. Maybe you never sit quietly, purposely doing what you think of as meditation. But I'm talking about a different way that we meditate. And that is when you're alone, when no one's looking, when no one's listening, when you're doing mindless work that doesn't require your brain to engage. Where does your mind go? What thoughts do you repetitively circle back to? What stories do you tell yourself and maybe others over and over and over? Years ago, when I was going through my divorce and a whole lot of life was just, it was more than I knew how to deal with, I went through a phase where I thought all the time about what I would do if I won like $10 million in the lottery. In my head, I drew floor plans for the house and the stable and the dog run that I would build, and I chose all the kinds of dogs and horses and equipment I would have, and I made a list of the people whose debts I would pay off and what charities would get fat checks from me, and I pondered whether I'd keep working, and if I did, what kind of work would it be and what kind of hours would I work. Now, here's an important thing that you have to know while you're listening to this. I have never bought a lottery ticket in my life. If it's a thing you like to do, no condemnation, but gambling has never had any appeal to me. For me, it'd feel like taking my hard-earned money, placing it into the toilet, and flushing. And so I just don't do it. And so there was no part of me that was hoping that I would win the lottery. I knew realistically that millions of dollars weren't going to fall out of the sky and solve all my problems. I was just a stressed out mom who needed somewhere to focus that was away from all my fears and problems, including the very real panic attacks where, I just felt like my heart was literally going to explode out of my chest. Imagining all these things about the house and the stables and stuff in great detail was my way of shutting it all off for a little while. Now, while those little mental fantasy sessions were a weird way, maybe, to go, they weren't actively harmful since I knew for sure I'm not playing the lottery, no money is coming. And they were somewhat helpful, really, because they helped to give me a distraction, helped me get off the perpetual loop on which I was all too often stuck, which was thinking obsessively and repeatedly about the things that had led to my divorce, things that had been said, things that had been done, terrible interactions, things I couldn't fix, and also the fact that I was scared to death about how I was supposed to raise my two kids on my own and whether I could really do that or not. So in other words, those fantasies about, the horses and the dogs and whether I'm going to work or not helped keep me from meditating on the pain and the other things that were out of my control. It was a temporary solution, and soon enough I learned a better strategy than fantasizing for what to meditate on. And you can find it in Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Here's what that says. And now, my dear brothers, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. This verse helped me to walk the rest of the way through that divorce and through 15 years of being single. It helped me not to meditate overly much on, my feelings being hurt. It helped me not to meditate on my fear of failing. It helped me not to meditate on my loneliness. It helped me not to meditate on the things I was missing and choosing to remain celibate after that. And it helps me today still. It helps me not to meditate on offense when someone hurts my feelings now. It helps me not to meditate on frustration when my arthritis doesn't let me move in ways that I really would like to move. I could go on and on. The beauty of this verse is that if you can't think of anything good to meditate on, you can literally just rehearse the verse over and over until your mind starts to turn. And I know it works. I've done it thousands of times by now. And when I choose to focus on what is true, honorable, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, and worthy of praise, it changes my attitude. It changes the way I pray. It moves me from focusing on my problems and challenges to focusing on gratitude and on praise. It helps me move into worship much more quickly and easily. My walls come down faster. It deepens my trust in God, and it helps me to find intimacy in prayer. So what are you meditating on these days? Do you need to think about rewriting that script maybe? Just a thought to start your Monday out right. Have a blessed week. I will see you next time.